Chinese audience would go to see an American film.
From TV to movie to reality to
From Wanda Group and Alibaba.
怎么样在竞争中去生存
creative team to China.
And there's that strong anchor to China.
Hello everybody, I'm Romy. Welcome to Hollywood Meets China, the private meeting with people who work both in China and the Hollywood entertainment industry. Today we are really glad to interview Jin Su, a film producer who produced several feature-length movies. Jin, in 2014, you created your own company, Broadvision Entertainment, to produce international content and especially on US and China co-production movies. In 2017, the movie Grey Lady, which stars Eric Dane from Grey's Anatomy, was released by Lionsgate, and you raised all the finishing funds and you built a marketing strategy. That's really impressive.
Thank you.
As a producer with over 20 years experience as an executive search consultant and a venture capital investor, building and creating new media companies in China, London, Boston, Silicon Valley, how did you end up here in the entertainment industry?
Well, I came here 3 years ago. The reason it's pretty odd because I've never thought in my entire life that I'd be a movie producer. But 2009, my husband and I ended up leaving Silicon Valley. We thought we'll try some retired life, but it didn't take very long before he started writing scripts and started winning awards. So we ended up moving to Los Angeles in 2014 and then co-founded Broadvision Entertainment to produce some of his writing and then some of the writing of our team member that came along.
Amazing.
After we moved here, we built the company. And Grey Lady is our first movie that Broadvision, not only I was an executive producer, and also we released the movie as well in theatrically.
Great, amazing. And is that your husband who wrote the movie? He participated?
He started writing when we lived in Napa. Actually, the first Napa Film Festival, he went there and pitched 2 stories. And he won the #1 and #2, both stories. And then the Hollywood executives wanted to see the script. He was so embarrassed. He said, I don't know how to write them. From that point on, he looked up on the best screenwriting school, turned out to be UCLA. First, he studied online, and then he moved himself to Los Angeles by himself. He just left me and our dog in Napa. A year later, he started winning awards. He wrote 5 feature and 6 TV pilots. Very productive and very hardworking year. And then I decided it's time to go. We sold our house in Napa. We sold our house in Silicon Valley, and just basically just plunged into Hollywood.
So you follow your dreams? And you came here?
Yes, it was, at the beginning, is my crazy husband's dream, and then I'm thinking of how to make it happen with him. And now I ended up going back to school at UCLA as well to learn how to produce. And now it's our dream together, is my dream as well.
Wow, that's really impressive to do that.
Thank you.
And to change your life and
completely,
your life.
Yeah, it's in a different world. Because we lived many years in Silicon Valley, and I know the high-tech world really well, the venture capital investing, building startups. So this is our startup in the entertainment world.
That's amazing. And to come back to the business part and your tasks, how did you build your relation with Chinese investors to build a movie?
At this point, we have not. We haven't had any Chinese investors yet. So far, we put a lot of our savings, our retirement on hold. So there's our new business. But along the way, I think after the success of the Grey Lady, I'm getting calls from a lot of people because, 3 years ago I told people that I'm leaving Silicon Valley, I'm doing movies. Everybody thought I'm crazy. So 3 years later, I proved that we can not only do feature, we also have a TV pilot and a reality show, 2 reality shows being edited right now. So when people start to see we actually do what we say we're going to do and deliver on time, I think now it's sort of proved our
professionalism.
Action proved that we can actually perform.
They trust in you and they want to follow your activity.
That's when I think it's time that it's right time to go outside for investors. Yeah.
And what do you think? What makes the topic appealing for Chinese investors? Do you have an idea? The cast, the plot?
Oh, for our company?
Yeah.
We don't just want to be a Chinese company or a Hollywood company. We want to produce content that moves people. We don't do temples. We don't do superheroes because I think there are a lot of heroes in everyday life. If I ask you about your life, I ask your cameraman, everybody has a great story. Everybody is a hero in their own life. So those are the stories that we are trying to find. That inspire people, that people can watch the movie and watch the TV show, that they can be a better person, they can relate to the individual and say, you know what, that person, I could be somebody, I could have achieved more in my life. So that's the kind of stories that we're seeking. And so it could be Chinese, it could be French, it could be American. So it could be just anybody who has a great story and great life and made something out of their own life.
And when you're gonna produce a movie, do you think about the distribution? Because your goal is more China-US co-production movies, right? So maybe you want to release both in China and US. So do you think about the market?
Always day one, we think about when we have one story, we think day one, who are the end users? So I'm looking at this business as a business rather than, I'm an artist. There's art in it, but it's really a business of how big is your audience? Who are the likely consumers of these? Where are they going to buy this? Are they going to buy from theater? Are they going to want to watch it on TV or cell phone? So it's different distribution platform for different type of products. Some could be co-production for 2 countries and some maybe just 1. So depending on the size of the market, we decide how much we're putting in, what type of cast we use for that particular market. So our investors can get double, triple, or a lot more than what they put in. After all, they are business people. They want to see a profit.
Right. That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. And the movie Grey Lady, for example, was released both in China and US or mainly?
Right now, it has not gone to China yet. It's not exactly a big market story for China. So if we do go to China, I think we're going to look at the more of the iQIYI, the YouTube, Tencent type of internet audiences. But in America, we went theatrical on April 28th. We're actually #1 box office for indie movies. Due to our strategic marketing.
That's great.
Because we went theatrical, instead of 25 million families, this movie will reach 100 million homes in the American market alone.
Wow.
So for what we put in the market, this already is a success. So even if we don't go anywhere else. And surprisingly, France is a very big market for Grey Lady.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, people love the movie in France. And in fact, it went out ahead of US. So,
yeah, that's true. We like indie movies in France. We are curious about other cultures, or we're looking for a difference. That's true. You told me before that you developed currently some TV shows too.
Yes.
It's for TV it's for the American TV or?
We have one TV pilot. It's called Leading Edge. It's about a young Chinese MIT grad, super smart. I do. Many of our stories are MIT grad, and many of them are Chinese women lead.
But that's really interesting to speak about what we know.
Right. So this is about a young Chinese woman. Think about Steve Jobs, but it's a young Chinese woman who did finish school from PhD from MIT and started a startup company in the energy world. And her technology will eliminate the use of oil. So therefore, she's a big target. The oil companies would want her technology to die, and the Chinese want her technology, try to help her. And there's a lot of family drama as well, because she came from China, but did her education here. So that's one of our, it's called Leading Edge, also to take leading edge technology, this leading edge.
And that makes China and US in the plot too, because it's a Chinese woman.
Totally. And the whole world, we want technology, we want oil, we can't live without either.
Yeah, sure.
So there's the good dynamics.
Yeah. Oh, that's very interesting. And the movie Parent Management that you're currently developing too is also about a girl, but it's more Chinese girl. And
yes.
She's around.
So this Chinese girl, her name is Scarlett, and it's about actually the parents are the students coming from China in the 80s, because if you remember in the 80s, when China first opened up overseas students, and a lot of us came out to study abroad, and a lot of went back and a lot stayed. And the daughter who's born here in America, and so she's practically American, but from a Chinese family. So then there's the teenage with parents conflict, and there's the cultural American versus Chinese. And I think it works with all cultures. Like, in France, you have the same thing, teenager fighting parents. So she created a website to expose embarrassing parent moment. And then she gone too far.
Wow.
And then in the end, she had to come back.
Wow.
And the parents also have to come to her. So it's a understanding between parents and children grow up as an adult as well.
That looks great. And this is a dramedy.
This is a drama and comedy. Comedy with heart, if you will. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you tell us something about your company, Broad Vision Entertainment, and the movie Grey Lady?
Sure. We started the company with the name Broad Vision Entertainment. So when I say broad, not only the content we are broad, from TV to movie to reality to a web series, but also from the distribution platform. We want to be not that we want to be all to all people, but it's really the content, and it's how you create a content and how people consume today. Theatrical is one way. It's not necessary for a lot of the content. So we want to make sure that certain certain content we create are probably specific for cell phone or for iPad, and some of them are just for TV only. But what we want to do, even though the content is broad, but it's always a good content. It's content that inspire people in the broad sense, right? But it's like driving people, give people positive energy. That's sort of how we want to build our business. And
that's your line. You're looking for content with inspirational.
Yes.
Yes.
So the whole world will be better. We all, as human beings, will become a better people in whatever field we are.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. And broadcast on different platforms.
Yes.
It could be on phones and iPad and okay.
And some of the web series we have is 5 to 6 minutes. So people, this is more for Asian than for America. People are sitting in the subway, a few stops, they can watch an episode. Entertainment in various environments.
Yeah. And what about? I'm curious about that. for example, in China, do you think people look more iPhones contents than they go to the theater, for example, than American people? Or do you think there is a difference between the way of consume?
I think the content consumption definitely in China is a lot on the cell phone. People use that a lot more on consuming content versus here. Here we have TV, we have theatrical. But over there, I think theatrical is very big too. But for certain movies, for temple movies, of course you go to theaters for the spectacles, right? But, you know, certain, like parent management, we can definitely go to theatrical, but I think people can consume on television, on their cell phone. We have the parent manager in both TV format, in a web series format, and in the TV. And we're writing a book about it, and we're also building a internet, a web content. So we want to build a bigger IP than just one movie.
And do you think, for example, about Netflix, Vice, Black Pills, which is a new one, and I know there is Chinese platforms too?
I love Netflix and all these new platforms because I think it gives creators, movie content creators, a lot more power. So that before it was Big Six, and it's only Big Six, and it's very, very difficult to get into it. Now, with a little bit of investment, with a little bit, you know, if you have great content, you can get your content into all these other platforms and people can consume. So it gives a lot of power to the people who create the stories.
And what do you think about the technology environment in both Silicon Valley and Hollywood?
Well, that's a very big question. I can talk about when I was in Silicon Valley, you know, if I have a startup idea or have a team that come to me that looking for funding, I would look at their technology, I would know exactly which VC to call, which VC firm, venture capital firm, and which partner to call for that specific technology. But in Hollywood, there's so little venture capital. In fact, I've talked to whoever I can reach for indie movie. There's almost none. But if you look at the technology industry, if you invest in 10 technology startups, and if you have 2 that make it, it's already a very, very good return. But in Hollywood, if you know how to do it, the kind of content you can produce, if you do 10, all 10 can make money. It's how you have to understand how to do it. But then I understand from the Silicon Valley venture world, if you think with 0 and 1, it's very reliable. You know exactly is it going to work, if it's not going to work. But in entertainment, there's so much subjectivity. There's so many elements that are unstable, so that prevents people to invest. But I want to tell my venture capital friends in Silicon Valley that in Hollywood is actually investing in entertainment content would be a very good return for their money. Hopefully they'll listen, but I've talked to everybody. Nobody wants to touch the entertainment world.
They're afraid about it?
I think they think the risk is so high. Everything is risk is so high, but if you really dig into it, that actually the risk is not as high as you invest in tech, not higher. So that's hopefully you tell people.
That's a good
pass
point.
my message as well. Yeah.
So you think it's a little bit more reliable in Silicon Valley than Hollywood for the moment because it's another kind of state of mind?
Yes, totally different kind. I guess the left brain versus the right brain in entertainment world, and in particular in our company, we've got both left and the right brain, and that's also what makes me feel like we have a good path to go on, because you do need the control, the logic mind versus the creative side to go wild. So you kind of bring them back.
That's cool. That's cool. Thank you. And as a producer who used to co-produce, what are your daily tasks to make it happen?
just to be frank, I haven't really co-produced. The ones that I'm working on, there's the current movie that I'm working on, it's pretty much like pure American investment.
Okay.
There's a sci-fi thriller we're working on, written by my husband.
Yeah.
It's been fully financed, but it's not from China. But when it comes to co-produce, my suggestion or my thinking is that instead of to co-produce for the sake of co-produce, we need to have a reason, we need to have a story that makes sense to co-produce rather than just stuff it in so that we're co-producing. That's my feeling about co-production.
Sure, and about the sci-fi movie that you told me that your husband writes.
Right.
For example, if you're going to develop the movie, so what can be your daily tasks as a producer, not especially as a producer who used to co-produce, but just as a producer? What are your daily tasks to make it happen? Just simply.
When it's fully financed, our job right now is to secure a good quality director with a track record in this specific genre that we're looking for. And then once we secure the director, we'll be looking for the lead. Again, it's a women lead, and we're looking at A-list movie actress from the world. And then
she's American.
It doesn't matter. Okay. This is more of a Caucasian role. The way we wrote it is the husband is a high-tech entrepreneur from Silicon Valley, and in our original plan, this is a Chinese husband. Just because there are so many Chinese, it's just naturally, you know, in China, the boys always study science, technology, so it's naturally a Chinese husband. But then the wife is more the artistic type, and is a Caucasian, used to be a musician. So this is the story.
Wow.
And then the technology creator is the husband created a technology that actually, in the end, took over the smart house. That's all I can say.
Thank you. And yeah, it's about your vision. There are more and more China-US co-production movies, as you know. And what do you think about this trend?
I think it could be the beginning of a great thing that's going to last for many years to come, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you see many changes in these years?
I think we're just touching the beginning, just the little iceberg right now, the top tip of the iceberg now. I think it's going to go deeper and bigger with more Chinese. I'm very friendly with the AFI, USC students from China who are in movie. And I just talking to them, I feel there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of understanding, because they will be the messengers to bring China's culture out. And they're also absorbing the Western world culture. And I'm hoping to see a lot of great products coming out of these co-producing these brilliant students.
That's great. And what's your feeling about the future of the entertainment industry in both China and US?
I think the future will be great. I think there will be more. The past few years, I haven't been really impressed by the movies that mostly big box office from China, because I think in this particular period of history of China, we're looking at sadly a bit of a shallow culture at this point. The movies that are making money are not going to travel, unfortunately, to the rest of the world because the value system is so different. But with this younger, as I mentioned earlier, the students coming from China and learn the West and bring the best of China to the West, and the West understanding China more, I think we'll have better and better products that can be consumed by the world rather than China alone.
Cool. Thank you very much. Do you have an advice or something to tell us, to the audience or to people who want to do some stuff between China and US, for example?
I think just throw yourself in and follow your passion and dream, but at the same time, be aware of, send your projects out to people. That's how we do as well. We can't just be happy with what we thinking our project's the best. So we always, once a script is written, we always send out to the people we don't know. We don't even know their name. They go by their numbers. And we send out to 3 scripts, script consultants, as they read thousands of scripts. So they would tell us where's the problem, where logically it doesn't make sense, where they trip. So we'll figure that out, and then we'll come and keep revising that. So we'll have many, many drafts until all the consultants come back and say, yeah, it's ready to go, 3 recommends, and then we'll go to our investors to say, look, these are the feedbacks. So that's my advice to the writers, and don't be afraid to show other people. Let other people criticize. I know a lot of times it's very difficult to take criticism because it's your baby, it's your passion and dream, but you need other fresh eyes to see where the loopholes are, where the holes are. Is it really going to make it? And then you can come up with much better end results than just focus on. Focus is good, but be open-minded.
Great. Before the green light and to receive many advices.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you very much, Jin, for all your reply and your vision.
Well, thank you, Romy, for offering me this opportunity to share my thoughts with your audiences.
You're welcome. Looking forward to our next meeting here at the Millennium Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Thank you for watching Hollywood Meets China. I am Romy. See you next time.